What's up, guys? Back again. Just want to make a quick video about doing UFO research. Pretty much, if you want to find the truth as much as possible with all the information that's out there, I'll put a list of the top 10 cases of UFO events, incidents, what have you, that have occurred. You got to look up the stuff. You got to go back all the way to Roswell. Roswell, that's the 40s, 47. And then there's UFOs investigating our nukes. That's in the 40s, 50s, 60s. UFOs in Vietnam. It's crazy, right? UFOs deactivating our nukes, 1967 Malmstrom. Nuke, and then there's the 80s. That's the Rendlesham Forest, a UFO over that Air Force base in the UK. And then there's UFO sightings in the 90s, all over the place. Europe, USA, Brazil, the Chupacabra, or not Chupacabra, but it was that freaking, that one alien, 1996, I forgot, Virginia UFO, where there's supposedly like an alien running around the freaking Brazilian town, crazy. And then the 2000s, you can look it up, 2000s events, in the 2000s, the nukes, were tampered with, that nuclear base. I forgot where. I think it was Oregon or something. Then there was the 2003 Vandenberg Square. Looked that up too. And then in the 2010s, there was UFO sightings. Don't really know like where, like 2010 specifically. It's just so modern. But you jump to like the 2020s. New Jersey drones. So there's a bunch, there's a whole timeline. The reason I'm talking about this in terms of research, you got to know the research, the history to actually have an idea of what this is in regards to the congressional hearings. If you have this background, this historical context of all these UFOs events, and you know what's happening. The Tic Tac, for example, we started seeing the Tic Tacs back in the 50s. 40s, they look like propane tanks, and then people say they look like Tic Tacs. If you have an idea of, when this happened, you'll see it's not a new phenomena, that no country back then in the 50s, 60s, I don't care what country it was, no one had that ability. We don't even have the ability today. So they've been around here a long time. But if you know the history of this, I'm gonna put this in the context. I'm gonna put it in the comments, whatever. But if you know the history of this, much more easy. It's going to be way easier to digest what they're talking about in the congressional hearings. When they're talking about nukes being deactivated, 1982 in Russia, or 1967 Malmstrom. I believe it's North Dakota, or it's Montana. Anywho, but once you know the context of this, you'd be like, wow, this has been happening for a long time. The U.S. government knows about this. There is kind of a framework, protocols within the government, within the military, that kind of dictate what they're going to do, what they're not going to do once they encounter these things. Sometimes they're not, but I believe George Knapp was saying that in some of these manuals, U.S. Air Force manuals in the 60s would say, if you encounter a UFO, do this, do that, etc. So they know about this. So if you have this whole context, you really don't need someone from the government or like the president saying, yes, we're not alone in the universe. You can pretty much see that there is non-human intelligence. It's been in our country and our planet for a long time. Now the question is, are they from another planet? Are they from another dimension? Where are they from? Are they from the future? Who knows? And then, what type of species are there, right? There's like the whole, there's grays, there's reptilians, there's the Nordics, and then there's the, the praying mantis. So there's a whole bunch, and then once you kind of have this whole context, you kind of see what they're all talking about. And this isn't even talking about paranormal events or places. Like, we're talking Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, and there's other places like that where there's supposedly like a lot of UFOs appearing, disappearing, Bigfoot's walking. This is some crazy stuff. I was like blown away when I first heard about this stuff. I was like, what the heck are you guys smoking? And then I got the Audible book, started listening to it and hearing it, and then I actually bought the book too. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. So, and then there's the TV show too on Discovery Channel, I believe. But look all this stuff up. Once you kind of see that, there is this kind of like genre or this portion of life that's unexplained, it's going to really make you see the big picture. The big picture is, hey, there's more to life than just, paying bills, going to your job, just, trying to have kids, etc. There's a lot of things that are at play. And like, I think if you see the bigger picture, you can pretty much just, be a better person, enjoy your life more, have a more fulfilling life. And kind of, I think for myself, it's motivating because like before I started getting into this topic, kind of was like, man, life's kind of boring sometimes, or like, it's kind of like whatevs. There's not a lot of things to discover. There's still a lot of things to discover in the world, and this is going to be one of them. So UAPs, UFOs, just knowing how to, I guess, understand these things that a lot of people, that people don't taught, that you're not taught in school. Put it that way. Things that are not taught in school, things that people maybe don't want you to know about. It's very interesting, fascinating. It's a nice hobby to have. So anyway, back to my point. To get to, the heart of the matter, do your research. Go back all the way to the 40s. The heart of the matter, the number one case for all of this is Roswell. Once you have that, there's books on it. The one that I'm reading right now is Roswell Case Closed. That's a good one. I actually read that one. Another one I'm reading is the event Corona something. It's like the crash of Corona. But once you kind of figure out what happened there, it opens up the doors. So you can see like all the mechanisms at play, the government, what they're doing to kind of hide information, disinformation, etc. And then you can also get into the fictional side, like the movie world side, like X-Files. That's a good show. That's a freaking damn good show. Get into like other stuff, then like TV shows like Sightings, Unsolved Mysteries. Once you kind of figure all that stuff out, you kind of know what's happening, and then too, Men in Black. A lot of people, I guess, didn't know about this. Men in Black was actually based on, the actual like Men in Black, people being told not to talk about UFOs when people saw them. Supposedly happened. They first started seeing Men in Black in the 50s, so 60s, etc. They just drive up, pull up to an event, be like, hey, you witnesses, you didn't see a UFO, it was an alien, you better not tell anyone, keep your mouth shut, we're gonna get you. So yeah, once you kind of figure all this stuff out, you're gonna have a better understanding. So I'll put some information in the comments, but hopefully this helped you out. Again, the historical context of UFOs, gotta go back to Roswell. So once you understand Roswell, you understand everything. So hopefully this helps. You guys have a good day.